Shameless.
United in the Europa League, Europa League. Me tell them one time, and me say.
What's going on, people? Welcome to United View and welcome to the preview for Manchester United's game against Sevilla tomorrow night at Old Trafford. We are here at Carrington. As you can see, the players are behind me going through their paces in a very cold, windy and wet Carrington. Ten Hag's done his press conference. Where I want to start is Tony Martial. Tony Martial, he said he's ready to start. You saw me and KG on the Flexing KG show. He's Olayan. Look at Olayan. Someone probably got nutmegged. You saw us on the Flexi KG show talking about Ten Hag's plan for Anthony Martial, with whether he would fast forward him being more readily available because of an injury to Marcus Rashford. And I sort of not disagreed, but I sort of made the point that I don't think that the fact that Marcus is injured, Ten Hag would just change what he was going to do with Martial just because of that fact. But it seems like those two situations have coincided and happened kind of at the right time. Not that we wanted Marcus to get injured, of course, but actually he's ready to start, basically. And I think that's big that Ten Hag's saying that Anthony Martial is ready to start in the absence of Rashford, which is frustrating. But we were wondering, would we have to go back to Wout Weghorst potentially up front if he wasn't ready to start? But he is, and I think he probably will start against Sevilla. He didn't say he definitely will start, but he said he's ready to start. And literally, rewind a week ago or so, or especially 2 weeks ago, he was saying he's not ready to start games yet. He needs to feel his way into it, coming in for 15 minutes here, 30 minutes there, etc., etc. But he's built his fitness up where he's ready to start. Now, probably ain't going to play 90 minutes, of course. I don't think that will happen anytime soon. But he's ready to start the game, so it'll be great to see him start. Christian Eriksen being back in the squad as well. Be interesting to see what we do in midfield, man. Ten Hag spoke about he wanted to attack with 11 players. One of the journalists asked him what it would be like to have Christian Eriksen back. And he said how good he is, how good he can be. And I think him coming back is going to be massive for us. But would it be at the detriment of Bruno going back forward again instead of playing deeper? And I think with Casemiro and Eriksen back, I think that's what we will see. We'll see Bruno return to his rightful position. Just on Anthony Martial, actually, to go back to that, he was asked about basically how he defended him in the past, but what I liked about his answer was that he wasn't just saying I'm defending Martial because he's my player and that's what I do as Manchester United manager. He defended Martial with the stats, and this season he pointed to the fact that when he plays, the stats say that Manchester United play better football. Manchester United's chances created, etc., and goals scored are better. Now, I know the sample size is small because Anthony Martial has hardly played, but even we've seen that. Even we've seen that as fans, that, whether it's against Everton where he had to come off the pitch, still got an assist. Against Everton the second time around, come off the bench and scored. Against Manchester City, he was pretty good before having to come off. So the times he has played, which I know hasn't been a lot, he has had an impact in the game, and that's what we want to see from him, a continual impact. And we know that he knits things together. Casemiro, back, not just because the ban's finished. He would have been able to play in this regardless because it's Europa League, but it's going to be good to see him again. I'm assuming he's going to start. He is one booking away from another suspension, so hopefully he doesn't pick up a silly yellow card as well. So I don't want to be seeing that. But he's so integral to us, man. We need him. We need him. And when he's not on the pitch, you definitely feel it. Although I will say, in the 8 games that he's missed, 2 of the toughest away games that you could get this season in Arsenal and Newcastle, we've won 5. We've won 5, drawn 1 without him, and then obviously lost the other 2. So that's not bad going, considering how influential he is for us. That's an issue. we know that when he's missing, we're not at our best. But actually, we found a way. And I think the team needs commending for that. I think in the last couple of games, Scott McTominay, we've seen how good he's done against Brentford and Everton. Sabitzer, loads of reports today in the media saying that he wants to stay. We've spoken about that quite a few times, actually, that he wants to stay. But that's been interesting to see, the reports linking him. But he's been good in the last couple of games as well, as has Bruno. So it's actually been Fred who hasn't been starting in the last couple of games. Didn't start against Newcastle, didn't start against Brentford, didn't start against Everton. In the last 3 games, no starts for Fred. So interesting to see if he comes in today for fresh legs or not. At fullbacks as well, obviously Luke Shaw's still not available. Ten Hag confirmed. Obviously Garnacho not available. So you should expect Malacia to continue at left back, but right back continues to be that battle. Now it's European, little bit of a continental style, Spanish team. Sevilla obviously not doing too well in the league, changed the manager, but have got European pedigree. We know that. Will Ten Hag go over slightly more offensive fullback in Diogo Dalot? But actually, Wan-Bissaka offensively has been contributing just fine. They've been absolutely fantastic. So it'll be interesting to see what he does there at right back. On to Antony as well, a staunch defence of Antony from Erik Ten Hag. Obviously, he was asked about maybe not being able to see more goals for him or assists from him in the league. Ten Hag quick to jump to it as well. Said, look, in the last Premier League game, although Antony should have scored goals, Sean Dyche had to make a change at half-time because Antony was rinsing their fullback. He had to make changes straight away, rinsing the player that was on that side. So that was an interesting one. And he also alluded to the fact that against Betis, a really important goal against Barcelona, the winner, scored in the FA Cup as well. So I think it was the FA Cup. I'm pretty sure he did, yeah. But he scored in cup games as well. So yes, of course, we want him to be able to do it in the Premier League. But actually, he is still contributing, and it's a level that he won't go below. It's a level that he won't go below, and he works really hard for the team. Jadon Sancho, we didn't speak about him in the press conference, but what is interesting actually going into this period of games without Marcus Rashford for a few games, it's a chance for him to get back-to-back starts and like he has done now, and to build upon that and build some momentum. He's had a long time out, coming in and out, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, hard to get that match rhythm. And obviously we're expecting great things from Jadon, so it's difficult for him to come in and do that. But now, in the absence of Marcus for a few games, you should imagine that left side spot should be his. There's no Garnacho as well, so he's going to start most of the games. And now with Marcus injured, he's probably going to get quite a few 90 minutes. I can't see it changing too much. Martial's not going to be playing too many 90 minutes, if any at all, in the next few weeks for sure. So you can't see a situation where we're late into a game and you're putting Martial on the left and taking off Sancho and putting Weghorst up front. I can't see that because Martial's not that fit yet. So even if he starts games, you're expecting him to come off sort of later on in the game. And you're not seeing a situation where you're taking off Jadon Sancho. And who else are you going to put on the left-hand side to see out the game? Maybe Bruno, depending on what's going on. Pellistri does most of his work from the right-hand side. Anthony Elanga can play on the left, but mainly has been on the right-hand side. So I think this is the perfect opportunity while Marcus Rashford's out to shine some light on Jadon, for him to build some momentum and actually get himself playing regularly, first of all, and hopefully impacting the game in what will probably be, if Marcus Rashford's out for a few games, which is a few, I always say is 3 as a minimum, right? So a few is 3 games. If you're looking at that, Marcus Rashford should, in the games that he's out of, the games that we're playing, Sevilla at home, I'm expecting Manchester United to have the lion's share of possession. Nottingham Forest away, I'm expecting us to have the lion's share of possession. And hopefully with a good result in our pocket to go to Sevilla next week, we should have the lion's share of possession there, or be able to be okay. So I like the fact that, that is good playing time for Jadon Sancho. You're looking at that thinking, he should be able to complete 90 minutes in all of those. I don't see why not. Of course, you've got to mix things around. And when players get a little bit leggy, a little bit tired, Ten Hag always speaks about the fluidity of the team and how it's interchangeable and how he wants the team to play. We've seen so many different players playing in different positions this season. How many times have we seen that? We've seen it. Whether it's Harry Maguire, whether it's Bruno Fernandes, whether it's Scott McTominay, whether it's Fred, whether it's Martial, whether it's Rashford, whether it's Weghorst even coming into the 10. We've seen it from near enough every single player having to play different positions. So for me, I think that's a perfect way to look at things. But on Jadon, I just think it's perfect for him. Obviously, we don't want Marcus to be injured, and it's fantastic news that he's not going to be out for too long. But it's a chance for him. It's a chance for him to get that much needed momentum. It's a chance for Jadon Sancho to get game time, because when everybody was fit, And with Martial coming back, you know, especially if Garnacho was fit and Rashford's got it locked on the left-hand side, you're looking at Jadon, you're thinking, where is he going to fit into this team? Obviously on the right-hand side, Ten Hag favouring Anthony, giving us that balance. It was a bit scarce for game time, you know, with Ten Hag even trying to shoehorn Sancho into the number 10 position or into central areas. So now he's going to get some time on the left-hand side to do some of his best work. And I believe that he can do that. In the last couple of games, I think he's been progressively better. Obviously, we're looking for goals, we're looking for assists, we're looking for things like that. But ball retention is one of the things that stands out with Jadon Sancho. He's not going to be a winger who is going to beat 2 or 3 players, get to the byline, chop it back, put it in the top corner. That's just not the sort of winger that he is. He needs to link up with players. He needs to play with players with high IQ, players who can come up in the triangles with him and bounce wall passes off them and combine with players. That's the sort of, you know, left winger that he is, or winger that he is. So he needs that time, and for his confidence, it's going to be a world of good, because I think he's, like I said, he's going to get those runs. To finish off that midfield trio, I think it's going to be so interesting to see if Eriksen comes straight back in. Didn't play too long in the game against Everton. Didn't play too long, but does he come straight back in and start? I'm not too sure. Does he keep playing Scott McTominay? He's played well in the last couple of games, or does he just go back to the tried and tested trio of midfield of what we've wanted to have, which is Eriksen, Casemiro, and Bruno? So let me know what you guys think. We're going to take a trip over to Old Trafford to have a look at Sevilla's open training session as well, to have a sneak peek at what they have to offer. You know, we've got to do the sneak peeks. So as you can see, the Sevilla players are behind me here at Old Trafford. It is absolutely soaking. It is blistering rain and wind. It's freezing cold. I think it's like 30 odd degrees in Sevilla right now, or in Seville right now, should I say. So something for them to get accustomed to in the next 24 hours or so to the game. And they're ready for it. You know what I will say though? They've got a couple of handy players. I know they've been in poor form in the league, but like Erik ten Hag said earlier on in our presser, we do have to respect this opposition. It can be a tricky game. They've got a lot of European pedigree in terms of the Europa League. Now, don't get me wrong. Obviously, they've been fighting relegation. They're 5 points ahead of Valencia, I believe, and a really, really tough time. They've had 3 managers this year. But anything can happen in Europe. You know, you have to be on it. And actually, if you look at some of the players they've got, a couple of players that I know quite well from the World Cup following Morocco. You look at Bono, the goalkeeper, fantastic he was in that when Morocco got to the semi-finals, eventually going out to France. En-Nesyri as well, I was there when he scored against Portugal to put them through, and played well against Spain, etc, etc. Had a couple of chances against France as well, so he's handy. Obviously, our very own Alex Telles obviously didn't hit the ground running with us. I'm not saying he's going to be amazing, but again, knows the place very well, so you'd expect him to be comfortable. Brian Gill of Tottenham. So imagine Jesus Navas is still there. I remember being surprised that Joaquin was still at Betis. And another one there, Jesus Navas, sorry, is still there. And obviously even Rakitic. Now, obviously he started at Seville, then obviously went over to Barcelona, world-class player, coming to the end of his days now. But again, if you give him time and space, there's quality there. So we have to be aware of that. So roll on tomorrow. Erik ten Hag has spoken. These guys are ready. Let's go and take care of business. See you tomorrow on the match view as well. Make sure you guys keep those guys company, and we will see you after the game. I'm out of it. Take care. Peace.